Chimpanzee versus Mandrill. In a battle between a species of great apes and the biggest monkey, who would win? The chimpanzee is a member of the Hominidae family, also known as the great apes. Other members of the Hominidae family include orangutans, gorillas, bonobos, and humans. Of the great apes, the closest relative of the chimpanzee is the bonobo. The mandrill is a species of primate in the Cercopithecidae family. Researchers also classify their close cousin, the drill, in the Mandrillus genus. Though the two species look similar to baboons, researchers believe that their closest relative is the mangabe. What do they look like? Chimpanzees are large primates with long black hairs that cover their bodies sparely, except for their palms, their faces, and the soles of their 2 feet. The parts of their bodies that are hairless are colored light to dark brown, depending on the individual's age. Chimpanzees have good sight and can see in color. Their fingers are long and they have an opposable big toe. With arms longer than their legs, chimpanzees are able to get about on all fours, known as knuckle walking. They have 32 teeth, very similar to human teeth. Chimpanzees stand approximately 3 to 5.5 feet, 1 to 1.7 meters, tall when erect, and weigh about 70 to 130 pounds, 32 to 60 kilograms. Males tend to be larger and more robust than females. The mandrill is stout-bodied and has a short tail, prominent brow ridges, and small, close-set sunken eyes. The adult male has bare-colored patches of skin on both the face and the buttocks. On the face, the cheeks are ribbed and range in color from bright blue to violet, with scarlet along the bridge and end of the nose. The buttock pads are pink to crimson, shading to bluish at the sides. The long body fur is olive to brown, and the small beard and the neck fur are yellow. The eyes are framed in black. The males have large canines, measuring up to 1.8 inches, 4.5 centimeters in length. The adult male is about 3 feet, 90 centimeters long, including the tail stub, and weighs up to 77 pounds, 35 kilograms, which makes it the largest of all Old World monkeys. Where do they live? Chimpanzees inhabit the tropical forests of Central Africa. They are found from Gambia in the west to Uganda in the east, excluding the region bordered by the Congo and Lualaba rivers in central Zaire. Western chimpanzees occur in the western portions of the range, from Gambia to the Niger River. From the Niger River to Congo, in the central portion of the range, central chimpanzees inhabit forested regions. In the far eastern portion of the range, from the northwestern corner of Zaire into western Uganda and Tanzania, eastern chimpanzees are found. Chimpanzees utilize a great diversity of habitat types. Although they are typically thought of as living in tropical rainforests, they are also found in forest savanna mosaic environments, as well as in mountain forests at elevations up to 2,750 meters. Some populations are known to inhabit primarily savanna habitat. The largest of the world's monkeys, mandrills are native to the west coast of Central Africa. These striking primates reside in the tropical rainforests, forested upland slopes, dense secondary forests, and thick bush of southwestern Cameroon, western Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, and southwestern Congo. Their distribution is bounded by the Sanaga River to the north and the Ogooué and Evondo rivers to the east. What do they feed on? Chimpanzees eat a wide variety of food, including seeds, fruit, leaves, bark, honey, flowers, and insects. However, chimpanzees also hunt other animals, like monkeys or small antelope, for meat. Feeding is usually an individual activity, but sometimes chimps look for food together. They often strip a branch of its leaves and then dip it in an ant or termite hill to get the insects inside. When water is scarce, chimps chew leaves so they are soft and sponge-like. This allows them to then soak up rainwater inside of tree holes. Mandrills are omnivores, meaning that they eat both plants and animals. They prefer fruits. However, they will also dine on seeds, leaves, and stems. Their diet is supplemented by ants, termites, spiders, and scorpions. Also on their menu are eggs, birds, tortoises, frogs, porcupine, rats, and shrews. Opportunistic, mandrills will make use of their impressive canines to kill, with a bite to the neck, small forest-dwelling antelopes when this meal item unwittingly presents itself. How do they behave in the wild? Chimpanzees are intelligent, curious, noisy, and social. Chimps live in loose communities which can number anywhere from 10 to more than 100 individuals. They can share a home range that they protect from intruders and will sometimes forage for food in groups. They exhibit complex patterns of behavior, many of which are learned and can solve problems, plan for anticipated events, as well as make and use tools. They have even been seen utilizing medicinal plants for a variety of ailments. Chimps touch each other a great deal and may kiss when they meet. They also hold hands and groom each other. Female chimps give their young a great deal of attention and help each other with babysitting chores. Not only does grooming help remove ticks, dirt, and flakes of dead skin from the hair, but it also helps establish and maintain social bonds. Mandrills live in groups known as troops or hordes. These groups are generally made up of a dominant male and a number of females with their offspring. The largest group recorded, of 1,200, was the largest number of non-human primates ever found living together. While these animals are found mainly on the ground, they can move up into the trees and select one to sleep in each night. When hunting, these animals have pouches in their cheeks which can be used to store food for consumption later. Mandrills will roar, growl, and grunt to communicate over long distances. At shorter distances, they communicate using yaks, grunts, and screams. Now is the time for the most important part. The fight. Chimpanzee versus mandrill. I think even regardless of weight difference, they would each have a different way of fighting. The mandrill would rely mostly on its huge canines that would inflict nasty wounds, probably attacking in the same manner a predator would do to its prey. So if you put two mature alpha males against each other, I would confidently back the chimp. Mandrills are not in the same league as chimpanzees. Apes have much more capabilities than monkeys. First of all, chimps are also significantly more intelligent than mandrills. Also, chimps use woods and rocks as weapons. Sometimes chimpanzees hunt monkeys to feed on them. The chimpanzee can grow nearly twice as big as the average mandrill on average, which means a huge advantage in a fight. Chimps don't generally flee from leopards. In fact, adult males may actively seek them out in order to confront them upon hearing their growl, just like mandrills. The mandrill has longer canines than a leopard. These canines are used for slashing and can cause injuries, but it is very unlikely that the mandrill will be able to deliver a penetrating bite to the neck. However, against an opponent being that much stronger, I can't see him getting into a striking position on a regular basis. Trying to grapple with a mandrill is rather dangerous, but by manhandling and delivering several nasty bites himself, the chimp should win this fight. Comparing a chimpanzee to a mandrill is basically the equivalent of comparing a cheetah to a leopard build-wise. The difference might even be bigger. Just like cheetahs and leopards, chimpanzees and mandrills are similar in their body measurements. However, a chimpanzee is much bulkier and heavier, which would result in superior durability, grappling ability, robusticity, and strength. The mandrill's bite is formidable, but he would probably be rent apart or strangled or simply smashed repeatedly into the ground before it would be decisive. I don't think his fangs are enough to win against a tough chimp, almost twice his size. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button.